What's going on, you guys? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get you guys caught up. This next video set, which will be titled Reborn Continues, it's going to be about everything that I took care of in that time frame, in the 6 years that have passed, to get it up to this point. Now, if you've been watching my videos, towards the end of the videos, towards where I got to video 139, where I did a walk around, I was taking care of interior details because this car was built to be a driver. I didn't want it to stay in the garage and look pretty, even though I invested a lot of time in details. I wanted to actually drive it. And so from video 117 on, you'll see that I was taking care of some of the interior details. Now, when I left off at 139, which was the walk around video, I never showed what else I did to the car. And so these next set of videos is going to focus on the things that I did to it to continue to give this car a rebirth. So I'm going to attach a video clip of the interior. Basically, the video clip was for another purpose, but it does show, and that's why I'm just going to put a little bit, but it does show what the dashboard looked like back then. And so then we can take you to the video so you can see what I did to update that dashboard. I'm doing 70 again. So this is cruising at 70, 65, 70. Okay, so you saw the video. It was just a little clip of the video, and you can see that that dashboard was shot. So I had to, keep with the Reborn theme, so it had to be reborn. So what I did was I scoured the internet and I looked all over, and I just basically looked at all the options. Now, there's a lot of options to the dashboard. You can change it to a lot of things, and we all know that the dashboard is basically our information center. It tells you a lot about the engine, the car, the speed, etc. And so with me and with my desire to have details, I wanted to know a lot of details. Now, the original dash cluster just had idiot lights, and those lights, they just turned on when something already happened. So if the oil pressure light was to come on, it's not telling you or warning you that the oil pressure is low. It's actually already gone, and it's telling you, oh my God, there's no oil pressure, and the light comes on. So back then they were called idiot lights. I wanted some information. I wanted to literally see, like for example, the oil pressure. I wanted to literally see where it was at. I didn't want it to go all the way to 0 before the light comes on. I wanted to see if it was, 10 PSI, then it's like, oh my God, this is low oil pressure. And I also wanted to see if it's high. Basically, I didn't want the light to just tell me it was gone. I wanted to have some more information. So scouring the internet on the availability of dash designs, I came across Dakota Digital. And so I went with the VHX system, which is, for this car, and I love the setup. And when I installed that dash cluster, I obviously had to replace the dash bezel. So the video shows that the dash bezel was shot. I mean, they put a radio in, they cut it all out. It was messed up. I wanted to get a new dash bezel so that I can have a fresh start. And that's basically what I did. So let me take you through that and show you what I did on that. Now, I'm also going to show that I had a problem with the dash bezel that you can get on a reproduction for the 73, 74 model. So if you're going to get a dash bezel for these model years, you're going to see that there's a problem that I came across. And me being the guy that loves to focus on details, well, it was a detail that I could not live with, and I had to figure out what was wrong. And, of course, correct it. And I'm going to share that with you in this video. Here's the setup that I bought. Although there's a lot of options out there to choose from, this one, in my opinion, had more information and capabilities, plus retained the stock bezel look, which to me was a very important feature for this build. With all the features that this gauge cluster is capable of, you would think that the wiring portion of the installation would be as hectic as this. But the install is pretty straightforward. You just need to figure out where you want to install the control box and connect the necessary sensor wires like oil pressure, water temperature, speedometer, and tachometer, which you can get from the engine bay and transmission with the provided sensors in the kit. You will also need to use a couple of factory wires that can be taken from the original factory cluster circuit. Here's a photo of the factory instrument cluster printed circuit that's found on the back of the instrument cluster when you remove it from the car. You can see that it's very easy to figure out which wires goes to which part of the cluster. This is where the factory harness plugs into. By following the fingers of this circuit, you will be able to decipher which wires you need to use from the cluster to the Dakota Digital control box. Here's my original factory cluster. You can see it's shot. And here's the replacement. When I compared the new to the old, I saw that the hoop that goes over the steering shaft was 1 inch higher, causing a big gap. Here's the bracket on my car. It was pointed out through research that the steering column support bracket is different for the 73-74 models. This difference was highly noticeable when I installed the new bezel. You can see the difference here in this photo when you lay the parts next to each other. So how does it look? Well, see for yourself. The steering shaft actually comes up to that hoop area of the dashboard, the dash bezel. So I'm very happy with that. There's the gauge cluster. It came out really nice. And let's get rid of the light and let you see how it looks when it lights up. So when you first turn on the key, basically it has an information center. So you can see really quickly it lit up a bunch of little idiot lights, and the check engine light is lit up at the moment. So we got the tachometer, the speedometer gauge right there. We got the temp right there. Right there is the fuel. And on this side, we got the RPMs, which is the tachometer, the oil pressure, and the voltage. And in the middle, this is the cool feature of it. In the middle, there's like that information center there. So let's see if I can kind of get you through it. First, let's light it up. Turn off the light, and I'm gonna turn the light on and see if you can see that. There you go. That's what it looks like when it's in the night. I love that. And then over here for this panel, I actually took some kind of covering for the light bulb to make it look red. So you can see there that, well, in the night, this panel will match the gauge cluster color. So I'm really happy with that. So the information center, right there in the center, let's see if we can get you some shots of what it actually says there. So we got the check engine tachometer. Let's kind of go through this thing. So we got the odometer in miles, trip A, trip B, miles per hour. So in addition to driving with this one having the miles per hour, you can get a digital display of it. And we got the tachometer. So again, in addition to that, you can actually see digital version of your tachometer. And then the fuel, that's another thing. So basically, you get the gist. Everything that's all the gauges that are on here, you can actually see it in a digital format in the information center. And so let's see the bottom here. We got the high RPM. This is pretty cool. We got the water temperature, oil pressure, and PSI. And then we got the voltage. And of course, the other cool features of this, it does 0 to 60. So if you wanted to kind of see what your 0 to 60 in time is, you can actually, race the car and get a 0 to 60. Quarter mile speed and a quarter mile in seconds.
So that is pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. So that's pretty much the Dakota Digital Dash setup. I am very, very happy with it. Let me put it back to over here. So you can see that I have the additional part that allows you to see what gear you're in. So let me go through the gears for you so you can see that. So we got here, if I put it in reverse, you can see it goes in reverse, neutral, overdrive, which is drive, and then we have drive, which is overdrive. So they're preset, so you can't change the labeling. So if I wanted to, change, for example, the overdrive, I wanted it to drive and then put this sport or something, I can't do that. Other than that, this setup is awesome. I'm very happy with it. I have no regrets. It was pretty simple to set up, and you have all of this information now, and in both analog and digital formats. Not to mention all the other things you can plug into this Dakota Digital setup to get even more features than, of course, what it comes with.
Well, there you have it. Dakota Digital and a new dash bezel added to the Reborn project. This system is awesome. I mean, now since a lot of time has passed, I can definitely tell you that it's a quality piece, because right after the walk around video, I started working on this dash bezel and Dakota Digital setup. So we're talking, this thing's been in the car since 2013 and it hasn't given me a single hiccup. This thing works great. I mean, it's awesome. Not to mention, it's been through all kinds of little changes here and there, and it works like a charm. It's awesome, awesome. Now let me get you down to some key features of the system. I love the fact that I have analog and I have digital. So if I'm driving down the road and I want to see how many RPMs I'm doing at a certain speed, I don't have to rely on the needles, because obviously the needles are not exact. And I like details. So if I want to see the exact RPM I'm doing for the exact speed I'm driving, then all I got to do is just hit up the information center and it will tell me down to to the digit. So if I'm doing 73 miles per hour as opposed to 70, which is what you will see on the needle will be pointing right around 70, but you're actually doing 73, I can see that in the information gauge. I can see how much fuel I have down to percentage rather than just a big needle floating around. If you're on low oil pressure, it would blink, low oil pressure. I mean, low fuel, for example, when it gets down to 10%, you'd have a big low fuel flashing, on the instrument, right there in the information center. It has a lot of features that is definitely an improvement over the stock setup. I mean, in the beginning of the video, I explained that I like to have a little bit more detail other than just the idiot light telling me that, oh my God, I don't have any oil pressure. Now I can see oil pressure. I mean, I can see 10 PSI, 15 PSI, 20 PSI. I can see it down to the last digit. So it's like really cool on that. The gear selector thing was an extra thing that I added later on, and that's a pretty cool feature. And that just kind of shows you that you can put a lot more stuff into this system, so that you can have a lot more customized features for this setup. Now the other thing that I want to point out is when you first install this setup, the odometer portion of the gauge, you can only set that within the first 100 miles. So if you saw the odometer reading on the Nova, that's the exact miles I have on the Nova since I put this car on the road. So let's say you built your car and you get the odometer, you get the gauge cluster when your odometer said 10,124. Okay? Well, when you install it in your car, you can, within the first 100 miles, you can actually set it to 10,124 so that the odometer reading will be correct for you. So that's one thing I wanted to know on that. The other thing that is awesome, let's say you change the tire size, or let's say you change the gear ratio in the rear differential. You know what's going to happen if you do that. Your speedometer is going to be off. Well, I went through gear changes and tire changes with this, you know, in 6 years that I've been driving a Nova, trying different things out. And with every one of those changes, if the speedometer is off, cool thing about this is you can fix it. Now when I'm driving, if I am driving at 78 miles per hour, if my GPS says 78, so does my information center on my Dakota Digital Dash. So those are other pointers I wanted to point out. This stuff is this system is great. I'm very happy with it. No complaints whatsoever. And yes, I recommend it. I mean, it's just another part added to the Reborn project. And yes, it is definitely reborn with that stuff because, man, it makes the driving experience so much better. And of course, it's modern. It makes it look like a modern. I mean, when you're driving and at night, and I don't have tint on my window, so I'm driving at night, people can actually see the gauge cluster lit up in red. Looks pretty cool. So, hope you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you like this video, hit that like button. That really would help me out. It's just click and you get the like button and you're done. And of course, if you put a comment, that'll be great as well. I definitely read every comment. If you put down a comment, you have a question or whatever, hit that comment, you know, hit the section below with the comments and I will definitely get to it. I will definitely answer you. I mean, I'm here sharing what I did to my car. If you have any questions, I'm going to share that too. So, you know, I'll give you the answer. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching.